Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. We worked around the yard. We beautified some things. We bought a new air conditioner. So downstairs, we don't have to hear it. It has an inverter in it, so it doesn't have any noise. We won't even know that we have it on. We can program it through our phone in case it's a really hot day and we are gone. We can program it to turn on through our phones. So that was exciting. I bought some tomato plants that have to be planted in large pots because I put them on my deck. We bought a new patio rug for the front porch and moved the older patio rug out. That's about all we did. We ate really well. I rested more than my husband because for me, rest is relaxing. And so in the evening, while he was putzing around, sitting out on the porch, whatever, I just kind of sat in my chair and then dozed off to sleep and took a nap. So anyway, I hope that everyone is doing well. In case you are new here, my name is Susie and my channel is called Light Fragments Oracle. Because if you look at light, it's refractory. It comes through the trees. It reflects off of things. Light bounces in so many different directions. And my channel is very eclectic. One day I might be talking about makeup. The next day I might be flipping cards. The next day I might be showing you a soul aura that I created or what I purchased at a store or even online. And so I don't like to be honed into one thing. And I do like to talk a lot about spirituality and taking care of ourselves so that we can be better, brighter, more light-filled human beings. So what are we going to talk about today? I have some new makeup that I want to share with you. I also want to follow up on one product that I talked about a few videos back that I have been consistently using. And what is the topic? Well, the topic is 4 major changes or differences in our maturity as we get older. Happens usually around the 50s, but more so in the 60s. And then beyond 70s and 80s. So I have 4 main topics that I want to talk about with you today about aging and how aging can be so freeing for all of us. It's not just about our looks. It's about how we perceive life. It's about the changes that we make to accommodate getting older. So let's do that. Let me talk about the product that I want to follow up on, which is the Lume Whole Body Deodorant, 72 hour. I can attest to the 72 hours. I'm not allowed to use deodorant while I'm going through radiation, but this is one of the products that I am allowed to use when I'm not doing radiation, and I had 3 days off because yesterday, Memorial Day, was a holiday. So I used the Lume deodorant. I worked outside, I bebopped around, and I noticed that this lasted under my arms for at least 2 days. I didn't apply any more for 3 days. Even when I was sweating, I didn't have to reapply this. I am going to follow up with the cream so I can use that underneath my sisters, my twin sisters, after radiation is over. Instead of Gold Bond powder, I want to be mindful of what I'm putting on my body. So, some people have had reactions to the Lume products. I have not. I have very sensitive skin, and this worked perfectly fine. Moving on, I picked up some new products that I want to share with you. And if you notice, I am behind the window looking out, and I'm using natural light. I set up my table here instead of the studio because I needed a change. What did I pick up? Just a quick overview of the new products that I picked up. I got the 5% niacinamide Wet n Wild up to 16-hour Prime Focus Clingy Serum Primer. It's a base primer. And I will link all of these in the description with the prices. I don't think I paid any more than $5 for this. I believe it was something like $4.98. And since I really don't believe in primers, I use my skincare, I wanted to try this. I thought for that price, I'm going to give it a try. The second product that I purchased for just over $5, $5.98, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, Susie, I remember when you bought this product or a product similar to it, and you didn't like it, and here you are purchasing it again. Well, there is a difference to this one. I purchased the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation Dewy Luminous because I wanted to see if this foundation went on differently than the previous one from Wet n Wild that I had purchased, how it smelled, and for the price, $5.98 on my mature skin, I wanted to see how this works. So we're going to try that. The third product that I purchased, also from Wet n Wild, is the Wet n Wild Sunset Strip Tease 242B bronzer. And this is more of a cool bronzer, and I think this is going to take the place of my bronzer that I raved about, gosh, I don't know, over a year ago that I loved and I couldn't find. We shall see. Another product that is very inexpensive. I think this is under $4. And lastly, I wanted an eyeliner, a pencil eyeliner that didn't go anywhere. In coal black, Baby's Got Black. And this is a long pencil. I'm going to try it on my hand so we can see how it looks. And turn my mirror so I can look. Check that out. That is perfection. So let's get on with this. I put on my vitamin E oil, and I'm going to go over with the primer, and we're going to start discussing the topic for today. It has a pump. I'm going to go with 2 pumps. I like to go with a lot the first time around because I want to make sure I have enough. So let's get this on the face. From what I understand, there is a very, very, very slight rose scent, which I really like. I don't like a strong rose scent, but I don't mind a light one. And I'm only going to put this primer on in the areas where I touch my skin. Around my mouth, right here is where I have most of my pores, and down here. It is really sticky. It is really sticky, and it's supposed to be. This primer is supposed to be sticky until it dries down. It's very, very tacky. But the whole point of this primer is to keep your makeup on. And for the price, I could not pass it up. And if I like it, I will be using it. Not only that, but it's going to keep my vitamin E oil in my skin. Okay. It's slowly drying down. Look at the gorgeous sheen that it's giving my skin. I'm going to really like this. I'm going to really like this. You know, years ago, matte foundation was the thing. And that's only what I purchased was matte foundation. Well, I didn't have lines and wrinkles. I didn't have these pores going on. And in the last year, I have become more and more going towards serum type foundations with not a lot of serum in them, or a luminous foundation. It doesn't even have to have a serum, but a foundation that is more luminous, that will reflect off people being able to see that as I age more, I have quite a few wrinkles. Now, I'm going to go in close so you can see. We've got the light coming in. The sun just went in a little bit, but you can see I've got a significant wrinkle right here. I've got two that go over my eyebrows. I've got several here. You know, my laugh lines. Over my lip. And here. And I have mentioned to you guys before that I am not going to get any procedures. I'm not going to get Botox. I am not going to get fillers. My lips used to be a lot more full than they are now. There are ways around this. With makeup, with skincare, we don't have to do anything invasive to our skin unless it is absolutely cosmetically necessary. If that happens, that's really not somebody making the choice to keep themselves looking like they're 30 when they're in their 60s. I mean, what happens next? The elbows, under the arms, the chest, the knees, the butt. I mean, it can go on and on. I'm not judging. You all are individuals and adults, and you can make your own decisions. But if you are someone that has the same methodology about aging as I do, you may want to consider another way that is less invasive. That is all that I'm saying. So now we're still sticky, but it's dried down as far as I'm going to let it dry down. Just want you to know it does feel like it's tightening up my skin, for the record. So this Wet n Wild Photo Focus, let me give you what shade I have. It is Buff Bisque is the shade. It has a spatula. I don't have a problem with the spatula. I can apply it directly to my face. I can apply it onto my hand, which is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to put it right over the primer. And I've been using this foundation for 2 weeks. I got it 2 weeks ago, but I've had so many appointments that I wasn't able to get this video up. Besides, I wanted to get some other products. And I'm going to take my foundation brush. This is my favorite foundation brush, along with 2 others that I have. So, one of my favorites. And I'm going to pounce the foundation into my brush. And I'm going to apply it from the center of my face out. A lot of times if I'm going somewhere, I don't care. I just whip it on. But for today, for video purposes, I'm going to apply this from the center out. Now the smell. I am going to see if I can find the other video. The other video, the Wet n Wild Photo Focus, the foundation smelled like paint to me. It smelled just like paint. Now, I think I see something happening here. I don't know. I'll have to look up close. This has a very, very faint paint smell. Something that I can live with. The other one was so strong, I couldn't even stand it. It almost made me sick to my stomach. And I'm an artist. I don't mind paint smell if I'm going to paint a wall or if I'm going to paint a picture or whatever, but I don't want it on my skin. And it seems to me that Wet n Wild may have heard that people didn't like the smell, because this one is toned down quite a bit. I don't know how this is working yet with this primer, but I would imagine, since they are both from Wet n Wild, that it will work just fine. So I just pulled my spatula out and put it on my hand. And so far, what I have in my brush has covered my whole entire face. I don't believe I need any more. Look, it even covered up my mole quite a bit. So now I'm just going to kind of pounce around, go whatever's left under my eye, make sure it's in the corner of my nose. I'm going to pounce a little bit over my eye. It diminished this mole quite a bit. So when you pounce your foundation into your foundation brush, you are pushing the foundation up into the bristles. And then when you apply it and pounce this way, you're pushing it down onto your skin. And it really is the better way to put foundation on if you're going to use a brush. It's my preference. After putting foundation on now for 3 years, the way I used to do it compared to the way I do it now is a big, big difference. Whatever I have left, I'm bringing it down to my neck. Let's take a quick look and see what this looks like. Holy crap, you guys. Unbelievable. I'm unbelievable. I looked before I turned my camera back on. This has not settled at all in my fine lines and wrinkles at all. I'm shook. I'm really shook. Plus, it has this gorgeous luminous glow Wow, I am really, really impressed. So I'm gonna just leave this and let it sit some more. I am gonna put on a little tiny bit of concealer under my eyes. I'm using my Lancome Tint Idole concealer just to do a little bit in my tear troughs like this. And I think I'm going to use a little bit of it over my eyes just to obscure the veins and things like that. Let's see, what do I want to use for a brush? I have a Wet n Wild brush. And I'm just going to pat that. I'm not even going to brush it. I'm just going to pat it. Take a little bit, put it on that tiny little mole. That beauty mole. They're not beautiful, but in order to make myself feel better, I call them beauty moles. I'm going to put a little in right here where it gets dark. But I don't like to put a lot in there because it does crinkle up. So the fact that I don't wear contacts and that I wear glasses really helps people not be able to see that darker area around my eyes, which I never used to have. And now I'm just going to pat that in. Today it looks like this one looks a little worse than this one, but we're going to live with it. And I'm using a separate palette for the transition color. And once I get that on, we are going to talk about number 1 of the 4 wonderful pros to getting older. What happens as we get older and our perceptions of life change? We change. Now, what I'm noticing is that the green is a little bit patchy. So I'm really going to blend. I do not like patchy eyeshadow. I have a thing about that. Okay, what do you think? That looks pretty darn good. So let me put this aside and let me grab my Natasha Denona palette, which is the I Need a Nude, because there are so many nudes, and this shade right here for a transition. I love this shade. It is a beautiful taupe. The one below is also like a taupe when you apply it, but it is lighter. I just wanted to darken inside where my crease is a little bit. I'm just going to use this flat shade right here under my eyebrow. And I'm going to do my eyebrows off camera. I mean, you guys have seen me do that so many times. Okay, so let's talk about topic number 1. Topic number 1. The need for approval. It starts happening when you're in your 50s, but when you get into your 60s, the need for approval from anyone doesn't matter to you anymore. It is a slow progression. You don't need to be that good little girl that you were when you were growing up or even into your 20s. You recognize who you are. And so you make the choice to not allow other people to dictate what you can and cannot do. And it also includes your spouse. Because spouses like to form us into the people they want us to be, not who we really are. If you're lucky enough to meet somebody that accepts you 100% for who you are fortunate. But that can change too. There are no guarantees. So, your need to be approved by the outside world diminishes. The approval that you look for the most is in your own person, your own self. And that is one step towards total freedom and total maturity. It doesn't mean that things aren't going to aggravate you and things like that. That will happen. But how you present yourself, you know, you like to wear hats, but you didn't wear them before because somebody made a comment. You love hats, you're going to wear hats. You're not going to care what other people think. If you like to wear glittery eyeshadow and other people tell you you can't do that, you're going to do it. Because how you feel, how you perceive yourself, and you're not hurting anybody, you are not going to need approval. Number 2, you decide to release harmful, unhealthy, toxic relationships. I don't like to use the word toxic because I believe that as the world was created, that a person can be recreated. But there are times when you're going to be waiting until the day you die. And that person is not going to change. Or that situation is not going to change. Or that family member is not going to change. Releasing toxic relationships doesn't necessarily mean that you release the person, but you allow them to be who they are. You may have to release them. It might be so damaging and so unhealthy, you may have to. But you don't have any time for it anymore. You don't want to engage in it. You don't want to listen to it. And you will find ways to navigate around that. And if you are in a friendship where there is somebody that is constantly grabbing from you, you know, they don't follow boundaries, but they expect you to follow boundaries. And that's not going to fly when you become more mature and more sure of who you are and confident with the person you've become, because you've been through it. You've earned your stripes. And now you've had to navigate around many different experiences. You don't want to have to take the time to deal with this incessant toxicity that doesn't seem to change. So you release it. You release the toxic behaviors. You release the toxic relationships. And you look for a more peaceful, tranquil, quiet, enjoyable, joyful life. And anybody that wants to join you is welcome to. Number 3, and this is a good one. I'm going to wait to talk to you about because of my recent experience, I feel that I can really talk about this. Okay, we're going to try the Wet n Wild Coal Black. I'm just going to pull my eyelid slightly, and I'm going to brush this eyeliner, which is like butter, I'm telling you. You do not need to purchase these high-end, expensive eyeliners. And I'm just going to flick that up just a tiny little bit on the outside corner. As older women, we're not supposed to put eyeliner under our eyes. Well, what did I just say? I'm going to do what I want. So I'm just going to bring this eyeliner down very close to my eyelashes. Like that. Very close. And I am going to smudge that a little bit. Okay, let's move on to number 3 while I put my blush on. Fear of death. As you get older, I remember when I was younger, I thought about it. I thought about death, and I thought of, it was a scary thought. Even though I had relatives, my dad died when I was 19. I've seen a lot of relatives pass away. Nephews pass away. People that I went to high school with pass away. And my first husband passed away. As you get older and you become more mature and you realize that life is for the living and life is what you make of it. Death is not so menacing. The clock is ticking. And as you eat with each passing year, the clock is ticking. And you're looking at that clock and you're thinking, okay, I'm this age now. I only have so many years left to live. Maturity helps you to see that you only have today. You only have today. That is why the scripture verse, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It's so hard to rejoice and be glad when you have bills to pay and there's no money coming in. Or you have an illness that doesn't seem to be getting any better. Or you have other challenges. It's so hard to do that, but it's the only way. It's the only way. Time is going to keep on going whether you want it to or not. I use the Delancey blush that I talked about in my last video. It's a beautiful blush. It's Korean. Get yourself some. There might only be a couple of shades, but I love this blush. And recently with my breast cancer diagnosis, and for a whole entire month, I didn't even know how big it was. I knew it was small. That's what they said. Well, what's small? I didn't know if it was aggressive. I didn't know if I was going to have a mastectomy. I didn't know if I was going to have to do chemo. And so I reconciled myself that there really wasn't anything I could do about it, except for to accept one day at a time what was about to transpire. And that was almost a week from now, 6 months ago. So I'm still here and I'm still going through treatment, but I've learned something. I reconciled with my own mortality, and I decided that I am not going to let it get me down. Although there are times when I'm tired and I feel like it's getting me down. But I do what I'm supposed to do and pick myself back up and keep on going. Keep on trucking. You worry less about it because there's nothing you can do about it. When the fear of death preoccupies your mind, you're not living. You stop living. And that is the point of number 3. Number 4, this can easily happen when you get older, and I do find myself doing this quite often. Let's open up the bronzer. Gosh, back goes the glasses. And this is Sunset Striptease 742B. Let's open it up and take a look at it. No smell. Let me do a quick very, very light. Very, very light. And I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about it. It almost looks like it is a little warm, but and not as cool as I wanted it to be. But that's okay. We're going to try it. Whoa. Okay. It does look cooler on my face. And it is very pigmented. You do not need a lot. And I love that it has a shimmer. Let's go onto the chin. And with the gripping primer from Wet n Wild, everything is working so nicely. I mean, literally, it feels like it is stuck on there. I'm going to blend this better. I just wanted to get it on. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off my brush and get most of it off. And now I'm just going to brush it up into my blush and blend it. Pretty. Okay, let's drag it down. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'm just going to brush over my ear. I'll take a little bit of this. And the issue that I have with wearing makeup and then going outside is I want it to look natural. All right. Usually you can tell if somebody has makeup on, but I want it to look as natural as possible. See, I'm putting more bronzer under my neck. If I go up like this, you cannot really tell because I'm really, really blending it in. And I know that everybody goes on and on about Refer brushes and they go on and on about BK Beauty brushes. And they are nice brushes. They are beautiful brushes. But I like the Sigma brushes. I think the Sigma brushes are excellent. They clean well. They feel well on my skin. They are very soft. They're affordable. So if you want some brushes, go and get yourself some Sigma brushes. But if you can't afford that, I have some e.l.f. brushes. I love my Wet n Wild eyeshadow brushes. They work great. So, do what you can with what you have. Number 4, stagnation. Sometimes I'm stagnant. Particularly now, since I'm not really working because I'm in treatment, I will sit in the morning with my cup of coffee and I will get on, my social media. I'll read my news. I'll respond to emails. And I'll go on YouTube and start watching a video, and before you know it, 2 hours has gone by. And to me, that's stagnation. That's me doing the same thing every single day and wasting time. Although I love it. I love it. So I'm trying to be cognizant of how much time I'm spending doing whatever. And cutting that down. Once I'm back to work, that's going to happen naturally anyway. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with hanging out and watching a show that you love on your laptop, like a series, and enjoying it. But to be stagnant, to not try anything new, to get stuck in a rut. As you get older, it's easy to do that. So I like to keep up on things. I love to sew. I love to crochet. I love to knit. I love to paint. I took apart a dress that was a gift to me, that came from Pakistan. And I'm changing it to fit me better. Things like that. As long as my brain is being used, I feel like I'm accomplishing something. The same goes with, putting on, my husband loves music, so he puts music on a lot. And I will just get up from my chair and start dancing. Because I don't want to be stagnant. I don't want my limbs to freeze or my joints to freeze to my limbs. I mean, they're going to do that anyway, possibly. So why not keep them moving? And as I've aged, I've put on more weight because a lot of times that does happen with age. And, I feel like a lump. So I want to get up. I want to mow the lawn. I want to garden. I want to do these things. I want to go out to lunch with a friend or go visit somebody. Right now it's a little hard, but I want to do these things. And that will keep you from being stagnant. If you have older children that want to go places with you, do it. Do it. If your partner says, let's go here or there, do it. Stagnation happens when you get in a rut and you just say, I don't feel like it. And believe me, I've done that. There are times when I really don't feel like doing things that I used to love to do. And I have to force myself. I have to say yes. I choose to say yes. Let's do it. Let's go. I'd love that. That sounds like a lot of fun. And after I've made the decision and I actually get in the vehicle and I'm actually going somewhere, then my mood changes, my perception changes. I'm happy that I did it. My husband loves to just get out of the environment here and go do things. And honestly, if I didn't have him do that, I would become very complacent because I can keep myself quite happy. Okay, I have been really, really loving this Essence Princess mascara. I've been loving it. I have on 2 coats, and that's all I'm going to put on for today. Put on my eyebrows and my lipstick, and I'll be right back. Okay, friends, final thoughts. Love this Wet n Wild foundation. Love this Prime Focus Wet n Wild Clingy serum primer with niacinamide. I love the Kohl Wet n Wild eyeliner. I really like the bronzer. I am so shook. I mean, literally, I have got here about $20. $1, $2, $3, $4. $20 worth of makeup right here. 20 for all of this. That's crazy. It's crazy. So until we see each other again, remember, you don't need anybody's approval. You have permission to release toxic, unhealthy relationships. Let's just say unhealthy relationships. You're not going to fear death if you're living for today. You're not going to fear death if you are living one day at a time. It has no purpose. It serves no purpose unless you are reaching the end. And if you are reaching the end, you're going to want to spend as much time with the people that you love that you can. So as you mature, don't worry about it right now. And as far as stagnation, woo, 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 get moving. Get moving. Do some dancing. Take a walk. Work outside. Mow your lawn. Get moving. Do something different. Read a really great book. But don't be stagnant. Get your body moving. Okay, my friends, be well, be blessed, be beautiful because you are, because there is nobody else on the planet like you. And I think you already know how much I love you. Until we see each other again, enjoy your life. It's the only one you've got. Bye-bye.